It's time for another episode of Knights of the Round Table, a show filled with useless information and bad impressions of people you don't even know, with your hosts, Paulie V and J-Law. So grab your favorite beverage, let's start popping tops, and get ready to shoot the shit.
You idiots have loaded up a hair-trigger double-barrel shit machine gun, and the barrel's pointed straight at your own heads.
Step back, son. There's nothing to see here.
Paulie,
J-Law.
what's going on?
Hey, I am super excited tonight.
You are.
I am, because we have Jimmy Nig calling in.
We do. I'm really excited to talk to him, man.
Yeah, he'll be calling in later. It's going to be awesome.
Sweet.
I'm really excited that he agreed to come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, stories are great, and can't wait to hear what he has to say, man.
For sure.
Cool. So, how's the week been?
Week's been the week, you know?
Yeah.
Work as usual.
Yeah. It's been so nice, though, you know? I mean, today it was like, man, 80 degrees.
Yeah, the weather's finally starting to get to that summery kind of feel. I actually wore shorts for the first time today.
Well, I got in the car today, and I was, on my way here, and it was, a little warmer and stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is great. But I was sitting upstairs. We got to talk about when it gets nice TV versus nice weather
Versus actually getting out and doing something.
Exactly. I've been thinking a lot about it. Just as it's been nice this year, it hasn't been super cold up in the Northeast, and so now that we have DVRs and stuff like that, you start out, you can record one show, you can record two. I mean, at this point now you can record 8 simultaneous episodes. I can't even say it. Simultaneous episodes at the same time. And so I find myself at war with TV versus go out and do something.
I know. I wish I was in that position. Like, I only have a few shows that I actually like, so it's easier for me, I think, to get caught up on the things that I have. I don't actually have a DVR. We have cable, but I don't have a DVR. So anything that I want to see, it's like Netflix or through the TV Go app from Xfinity.
Right. I'm a TV junkie. I love it. It's great, but I also like to be outside and stuff. So I find myself looking back and I'm like, all right, gosh. Last night I recorded 5-hour-long programs, which, yes, the DVR is wonderful. It's a wonderful piece of equipment that allows you to exclude commercials and this and that. But at the same time, you're still in it for 45, 50 minutes.
Sure, yeah, I know. Even minus those commercials, it's still taking a good chunk of your life out.
Yeah, and then so you try your little, all right, maybe I'll watch 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and then you pick the show up, 2 days later, and you're like, I don't remember what the fuck happened at the beginning of the show.
You end up starting over. And if you're like us, like I tend to watch a show, like I'll watch like the newest Walking Dead or whatever, like late at night, because I don't really have cable set up. So I kind of wait for it to pop on the method that I use to actually watch it, which is later, much later than everybody else gets to watch it. And by that time, I'm like tired, I've had a couple beers, I've eaten, and I've kind of just forced myself to watch the episode, and I don't remember it.
And you're like, shit, I got to start all over again.
Yeah, 2 days later, I'm like, how'd that end?
The thing that irritates me the most is that I'll remember probably 3/4 of what I have to rewatch, but it's that quarter of stuff that you don't remember that's actually the most important thing that you have to remember.
Right. You'll tell me about it, like a Walking Dead episode, for instance. You'll be like, but what do you think about this that happened? And I'll be like, God, I don't even remember that.
Exactly. It's so funny. It actually made me nostalgic today. So I was sitting around and, granted, I love technology. I love being able to do what you and I are doing right now, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And hang out and put this out there to the world and talk to people and stuff like that. But I just remember back to being a kid and the progression of, how we've gotten where we are with how we watch like TV.
When now you have it at your fingertips, everything's on demand. But like back then you had to wait for things to happen.
You did. And it's funny. We were, Paul and I were talking the other day, and we just sat back and I was like, do you remember how excited you used to be when the Garfield Halloween or the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown was
all
coming
those specials?
On? Yeah.
I've tried to show like Sydney, like the Snoopy, the Peanuts ones that would come on, like the Great Pumpkin, like you said, and the Christmas one. and she's just got like no interest in it.
Yeah, because for us it was like this epic adventure of like, when's it gonna come on? Oh my god, we've got to be home Wednesday night at 8:00 because on CBS this you're gonna hear this sound, right?
Yeah,
And
when that
that just-
sound came on the TV, it was like that was confirmation that the show was actually going to happen.
It's like something fun is happening tonight, man.
TV Guide, we had the TV Guide back then. There wasn't this, all this predetermined stuff that you could go see and see that things were going to be on. And you didn't always trust the TV Guide because sometimes it was wrong.
It was, but do you remember how coveted the TV Guide was? Like, if you were to steal someone's TV Guide, they would hunt you down and kill you.
Yeah, I was all over the TV Guide. My parents would go nuts because what I did was I would go to, I would go to the back because the cable channel movies, they'd have a description and they would say like the rating level and like explicit sexual content. And for me, it would be like, woohoo!
Yeah, do it up.
That was a special for me. You know what I mean? I was like, I always watch for the dirty movies.
No, it kills me because you go from those black boxes with the dials on them that had what, like 13 little clicks, right?
Yeah,
And
when we had cable growing up in the 80s,
Right.
the early 80s,
Yeah.
there was like a little black box, like Justin just said, the dial that was basically just like the one that was on the television.
Exactly.
It clicked, and it only had 13 notches on
And
it.
your remote couldn't even turn on the TV. Like you'd have to go and pull the plug on the TV to actually get the thing to boot up.
Yep.
And then, at the same time, you're like, wow, you've got all this stuff going on and this and that. And so, I hear something that, this sound.
Does this sound familiar to you?
This does. This sounds like something special.
Like something's about to happen?
It really, really
like you
does.
might be able to see something in your home that
Yeah.
you would watch at the box office?
Yeah. If you grew up in a household that had a certain station, I think.
Do you remember
maybe?
what channel that was, Justin? Do you remember what it was on the dial?
I think it was channel 13.
I think it was 13 too.
I think
that was
it
the
was.
actual real special one. And if
Yeah.
you had it too, you definitely remember this. Oh, I'll drink to that, Justin.
Yeah, it's great. You remember those big letters coming out? That big HBO, they're sideways at first.
Three-dimensional.
They spin around and you kind of looked at it like, wow, this is really cool.
And this music just pumped you up like you're going to see something fucking phenomenal that
Yeah.
you've never seen in your whole life.
And at this point, you're actually like wrapped around the O, like it brings you into the O of the HBO.
Yeah,
and
like
you've
some
got,
kind of crazy fair ride.
all these like colors going on and stuff. And you're like, wow, that was really neat.
God, I loved HBO back then. I remember my dad. So my biological father, I say my dad in the past, I'm talking about the guy that actually raised me, but my biological father at that time, my mom, I don't know, she was out or something. And one night I wanted to stay up late, and the stipulation, if I wanted to stay up late, I had to watch Friday the 13th, the first one with him. And that was like when it first hit HBO after it had been out in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fucking great. I think it was 5 or 6, 4, 5, 6, something like that. But I remember the movie. And then I remember like going to bed and, I'm fucking scared. And I'm like, and I just remember him coming in going, stop being a sissy.
Stop being a sissy.
Fucking bastard.
I love it though. But who was the killer in the first Friday the 13th, Paul?
It was the mom.
That's right.
Yeah. And then they lopped her head off.
Scream will remind us of that.
Yeah, right.
People died because of that question.
I know. God damn.
But then, and then we had all these friends that, the infamous black boxes, not the ones I was talking about with the little dial on them, right?
No, but those boxes actually were black. And
They were.
And I do want to say that that term was coined because this same box that was in my house, the one that I watched Friday the 13th on, that made me whimper like a little bitch. My sister stole that. My teenage sister at the time, she stole that box and sold it to somebody. And it could, like, back then they couldn't monitor where they were being used or
Right.
shut them off.
Right.
So once somebody got their hands on it, it worked everywhere you fucking plugged it in. And that box was black. And I have a feeling that that's where that term came from. You have an illegal cable box.
Yeah, exactly.
The black box.
But you'd go over there, and there were, I think there were 2 requests. They'd call it request back then, right? They were request stations. Like you'd request a movie because you'd have to call in an 800 number to actually get the movie to come on. If you had the regular.
Oh
box.
yes, no. You're
So-
talking a few more years down the road when you could get like these, like Scientific Atlanta would put out these ones that you could get, like you could pay $500 for from somebody to get one.
Right.
Because we had one of those too.
Right.
And it would unscramble the signal or whatever.
Exactly. So I actually, well, I'm a couple years younger than you are, I think, but I only had the one that unscrambled everything.
Yeah, we eventually had that years down the road when my the father that raised me, quote unquote, he picked up one of those, and we had one of those for a while. And yeah, you couldn't do the pay-per-view stuff because you had to call, and
Right.
you're not gonna
Right. But then they had the ones that had the pay-per-view, and so at that point they couldn't track them. And
Oh, that's right. No, ours did. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, they did.
Ours let us
And
watch
so
the pay-per-view stuff.
We would sit there and we used to get excited about, having HBO and stuff. And now you've got, movies that are just coming out of the theater that are on your TV. And so we'd all huddle in front of the TV at my place. I think I won't name names when it comes to illegal stuff, but a handful of our friends had them.
Yeah.
We'd go over to their place.
And that's when the VCR came in handy, right?
Oh, man,
You'd have
yeah, you
tapes and
tape
tapes and tapes of
everything.
movies.
Exactly.
Like, whoa, you have that on tape already?
Yeah.
It's like a copy. It's not even the legitimate one.
It's funny. I mean, you bring that up, like nostalgia wise. Like I just was remembering too, when you couldn't even get movies in your house, really. I mean, yeah, HBO has been around for a long time, Showtime, this and that, but I mean, the video industry, as a whole. I remember back when both Betamax and VHS were out there.
Yeah.
You'd go to the store and you'd have, the little box and the big box.
Yep.
And,
Or you'd go to a friend's house with a tape and they'd have the other thing. And it was like,
wouldn't
shit.
work. Exactly.
God damn it.
And so, I remember going in and new movies would come out and they'd have a release date and stuff. And the old school mom and pop stores would have, they'd get one copy of each when both still existed, right?
And every time you went in, you're like, I hope it's there. I hope it's there. And then you'd go and you'd see the little model box would be on there and you'd move it aside and it would be fucking gone.
Exactly. And so then you go, and they used to have waiting lists, and
Yep.
you'd go and be like, when is this movie due back? And those were back in the days when you'd get a movie for 24 hours. You pick it up, you don't watch it that night, you're getting charged.
You
a
get
late
billed
fee.
again, yeah. And you get billed for not rewinding it.
Yeah, be kind, please rewind.
Yeah.
Those stickers all over everything.
You'd get a little bill for that. So
Yeah.
that's when those like little rewinding machines came out, and they were really handy so you didn't have to burn out the heads on your player.
This is true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
I never had a rewinder. I told my mom we should probably get one, but
Yeah, we never had one either.
we just go and rewind in the thing, and then,
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get a
if the
new
VHS
VCR,
player was bad or the Betamax. I mean, I remember our first Betamax. Like you didn't even put the the tape in the front.
No, it
like
popped
had
up the
popped
top.
up the top. And,
Yeah, pop up the top and then spits it out.
throw it in and stuff
yeah.
like that. So
Did they ever actually go in the front, the Betamax?
I don't know.
I only
actually.
recall them popping out the top, but I could be wrong on that.
I was pretty young when they got rid of the Betamax. I mean, we were pretty much a VHS family. I do remember the Betamax, but
Yeah, we were totally a VHS family.
Yeah.
And then, laser disc after that. But,
Right.
I don't think that stuck around very long.
no, it didn't. I was gonna say there was Laserdisc in between, DVD and VHS, but it's just funny to me how I just remember, especially coming from a small town, or small area like we do. I shouldn't even say town. You don't have a lot of people around, so you got a lot of mom and pop stores out there, and you've got a lot of just individually run operations by folks, and
And then
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster comes
We're thinking
to
the same
town.
thing right
yeah,
now.
I was just thinking that.
And I think before Blockbuster, we had a local one called Empire Video.
Yes, it was Empire Video in that
And-
same location that the Blockbuster
Yeah,
ended up
and so
in.
Empire Video, their motto was we're not gonna stock all the old shit. We're gonna go out there and
Yes.
we're gonna just grab, a million copies of the newest movies that people want to rent so we can make money.
Which was, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that the Blockbuster model too?
Yeah,
Wasn't
it
that?
was. It was. They'd have those guarantees, like, okay, X movie is coming out this day.
We will have 75 copies.
Yeah, and we're guaranteed if we don't have a copy for you when you get here, it's free.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember Empire Video. I think the one thing I liked about Empire Video, it had that Blockbuster model to it, and it was like very large compared to the mom and pops, but they still maintained the porn section.
Right, they
Yeah,
did.
like there was
they
no-
had actually quite a big porn section.
Yeah, there was no back room there. You had to go through the book. Do you remember the book?
Dude, I remember the book. I mean,
I mean, granted, I wasn't renting anything, but I knew of
couldn't.
the book.
Yeah, the book was there, and with the mom and pop stores, it was great because you used to have the secret room.
Yeah,
right?
you had the back room with the curtain, and like sometimes like somebody would walk in, and you could glimpse all the boxes, and you, you could see the covers and
"What's
see
going
like
on in there?"
half naked people on the fronts. That was awesome.
You know.
And I just couldn't wait for the day that I was old enough to go back in that room and look at those. And then when you actually get to that age, it's embarrassing.
It really is, and for us, it wasn't that long because at that point, everyone had said, "Okay, we need the real estate. Let's get rid of the back room and put it all in a book." And so, who's going to sit up at the front counter of a store, look through a book,
Yeah.
point to a title, and be like, "All right, I want to take that video home." And
Yeah, can you go get that for me?
it's
You
kind
already
of-
look like a sleaze renting the damn thing. Then you're
It's-
going to sit there and,
it's like you talked about last week with the, thinking that someone's going to come in the bathroom after you. And,
Yeah.
you're just like, are they watching what
I know.
what I'm
Who's-
looking at right now? Like, who's
in the
paying
book,
attention?
they make you look at it at the front, like where people are checking out. So it's like,
like-
you're just basically discouraging
You
renting
want
porn.
those kids in there, like sitting there
mean-
looking at those little thumbnail. They used to,
Yeah.
I think, cut the cardboard and put it into
Yeah,
like
they did. And they
baseball
laminated
card,
Yep.
things or whatever,
Flip,
and
flip.
flip,
Yep.
and you're
I
like,
like this vagina. I'll take this one. But yeah, anyway, like that totally, like those big stores killed the availability of porn for a little while, like at least video porn. Nowadays the internet's like free porn, free pornapalooza.
Yep.
And, back then when that happened and they got rid of those back rooms, like you couldn't get porno movies anymore. The internet was not in full force back then. I mean, there was a form of the internet, but there was no, you porn and free porn and go here
I
and
bet
watch
you
this.
the Playboy and Hustler stock went up, during those.
Yeah, people
interim
went back to
times.
still porn.
Yeah, magazine pages that stick together when you're done with them. But
Jesus Christ.
sorry, that was a little too far. But
Yeah. Anyway, that's like a common joke. Like, oh, the pages are all stuck together. Well, I don't. None of my pages were ever stuck together. I
no,
don't know what people are
mine
doing with
weren't
those
either.
books.
I just said it
I know,
because
I know.
it's just.
I know. I just don't know where that joke came from and how it became a popular joke. Because
Yeah.
don't you want to use the book again? I think I'm just gonna spray on the book. Screw it.
That's true. We did have one that hung on a long time in Vermont, though. Like Hollywood Video was a local little establishment that we had here, and they always did. They had the greatest idea. They'd go buy all these movies, and then they'd do a lot of turnover and stuff. So they'd have these lawn sales outside.
Yeah, they'd sell like used video systems
Yeah,
and,
and
games.
I think they only closed last year, right?
a couple years ago.
Yeah. So I mean, they hung on for a long time.
Yeah, and
they're
did.
loyal customers.
And they sold old CDs and
Yeah.
they sold a lot of used memorabilia is what it was. So.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we've got Jimmy Jr. coming up in a little bit here, and we're going to take a break, and we will be back right.
Later.
We'll be back right after this.